when one game against Livingston isn't enough, we throw two at you. Two whole thick slices of Livingston action.
A double header of the Lions.
A double dunter.
Yep, absolutely. That's what we were given.
And who are we dunting this week? It's your friend and mine, Andrew Henry Bowie.
It's a real pleasure again to be here.
Did I mispronounce your surname again?
Yes.
Yes! I will never ever get that right.
There's many things that are constant on this podcast. Bowie is one of them, and Alan Scott is the other.
I might actually just go with Bowie from now on.
That's it. You need, yeah.
It's a real pain in the arse having to always correct you. So
yeah, I can imagine.
We'll just call it Bowie from now on.
See, that's funny because
I'll inform all my family and friends.
Because constantly being wrong is absolutely no skin off my nose.
But I'm Robert Borthwick. This is Nickel High.
Hi. Right, great. We're the We Have No Cares podcast. We're coming back to you. We missed a week because Rob was swanning around.
Just doing shit in Norway and that.
Norwegian shit.
Norwegian shit all over the place, yeah, skiing and all that.
Lesser known Beatles song, Norwegian shit.
Exactly, yes.
How was it?
It was great. I skied and fell and got cold, and yeah, it was smashing. I had really expensive beer.
I was going to say, how many times did you buy beer at a bar?
To be fair, far too often. I'm pretty skinned.
What, like once?
You've got a severe problem.
Yeah, no, that's my realisation that I do have a problem. But yeah, at least it took a Northern European country to show me that, and not my friends and family.
Yeah, Scandinavia is very concerned about you, Robert.
It certainly is.
Well, so we're sorry for everyone that got disappointed that we didn't record last week, but I can only imagine how much more disappointed you're going to be when I go to Japan for 3 weeks at the end of March, when we're almost inevitably mathematically certain to win the league.
You dick. Oh.
So that's going to be a fantastic time for everybody.
Tokyo, no. We're keeping that.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay, but there was a game while you were away. Did you manage to keep abreast of it?
Yes, I did. I saw the highlights and all that shit. So yeah, I saw it all. Not all of it. Saw the highlights.
Good.
Goals.
Me too, because I couldn't afford to go to it.
Okay.
What about you, Andrew?
No, I didn't go. I was playing golf. So,
Christ.
As I say, I couldn't afford to go.
Yeah, I couldn't afford to go. Just went to your club instead.
We've got a golfer and a skier. This is the most middle class podcast of all time.
I was golfing at Archerfield that day.
Oh, just Archerfield now.
Okay.
But I kept in touch, you know.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to miss a podcast for playing cricket or something like that. This was just to complete the set.
Yeah, I can't come on next week. I'm playing lacrosse.
Yeah,
archery.
I was croquet.
Yes, all of those things that are posh people things do.
Yeah, it's good. The more you list things, the funnier it gets, obviously.
Absolutely.
So, yes, 3-2 it was at Ammanvale Stadium, or whatever the fuck it's called these days. Actually, quite a difficult game, but interesting because we continued our embracing of the midfield diamond with new shining Kenny Anderson.
Coming on for the
slotting into the midfield slot.
Coming in for Sam Nicholson, who was beheaded last week, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did not actually start. Yeah.
Our thoughts go to his friends and family at this time. Yep.
And Jason Talbot's stud manufacturers, because they're going to have to provide them some new ones after they, several studs are lost inside
Sam's
Sam Nicholson's
brain. Yeah.
He'll have a good hard sneeze one day and then just, take somebody out in the row in front of him at the cinema.
Most folk just get dentures, but Sam decided to get football studs, so yeah.
Yeah, screw-ins.
Yep,
into
absolutely.
the jaw.
Yep, straight in.
And I think, certainly you and I both know at least one Livingston fan each who's tried to actually defend it.
No, my good friend Smithy, who I was in Norway with, actually is a big Livingston fan, and I showed him the tackle.
Oh.
And the first thing he said...
And then, did you show him footage of the game?
Oh, penis. I showed him the challenge, and then the first thing he said, and I thought this was quite telling of a guy who's a season ticket holder, follows him home and away. First thing he said was, again. It wasn't, for fuck's sake, but as the pictures on Twitter and all the various internet websites have shown, he did the exact same last year to a Dumbarton player. Mm-hmm. Ball was nowhere to be seen and taking out at neck height, basically. So
I'm proud to say I don't know any Livingston fans.
Oh, well done, man. Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to. It was an absolutely fucking terrible challenge.
Yeah.
It was deliberate. It was absolutely shocking. You know, so high, both feet off the ground. I mean, his other foot was just about as high as the first one that actually went into poor Sam's face.
The thing,
it was a shocker.
the thing I don't understand is, you know, I know it can be seen in various different ways. You know, obviously no one really knows what was happening apart from the man committing the offence itself. But it's the amount of people saying, "Oh, it wasn't intentional."
Oh, you meant
See if you put your feet up that high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually an effort. I've played football in the past. If you put your foot up that high, you're making an effort to put your foot up that high.
As soon as it goes past hip height, like it's the least efficient option for getting the ball, rather than just trying to get your head on it.
At the same time, after it goes after hip height, you know, it's quite easy to take the foot back down or pull out because there's quite a distance between hip and face.
I've done it once before in a pub. And it was because there was a low hanging. Well, there was a low hanging beam. We were in a pub somewhere in Frederick Street or somewhere, and my friends and I were saying, you know, can you?
So wait a minute. Golfing pubs on Frederick Street.
Jesus Christ!
You're
We were
really
trying to
fancying up the joint here.
We thought, can we touch this beam with our feet? You know? And we did. It was doable, but you had to launch your whole body off the ground with your sort of back and bum quite low. And get both feet right up in the air. It was doable.
I'm just going to throw.
But preconceived and deliberate.
I'm going to throw something out here though.
Was that beam the same height as Sam Nicholson?
Well, it was a low beam.
You're not a professional athlete though, are you?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, because you know, but like you say, I mean, you do have to think about.
I look like one.
That high.
You know, I look like one, but no, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, like certainly it would take me like about a month's pre-planning and possibly a crane in order to get my foot that high.
If you were with me that night, you would have been able to do it. You know,
but as with so many stories, that's the way that concludes. Great, but yes, Dirty Bastard got a yellow on the day, but
a retrospective. And actually, probably one of, if not the first time, a retrospective ban's been given after a yellow card.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure it could be done, but
it was basically the referees. Well, I'm guessing this is how it went. The referee's report said, "Well, I couldn't properly see it. I saw someone getting taken out, possibly at midriff height, because Sam's unfortunate face and head was actually directly in the way of the referee."
Yeah.
But I think the fact that it genuinely that tackle went worldwide, that was all over the sport Bible and all that shit.
Yeah.
It was viewed like over 1 million times. It's impossible not to look back on it and say, right, well, fuck, we've got to ban this guy.
People in Tonga could say that it was a shocking challenge, but the referee was 10 feet away, and he thought, "Oh, that's a yellow card." And
I noticed Talbot, the referee, he was in like the worst place on the globe. He was just to see it.
He was just there, you know. But Talbot's manager, somebody I can't remember what it was. No, he's an old manager, somebody Flynn.
All right.
Who was it? Port Vale? Who was it?
It was Port Vale. He was that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the paper saying, you know, good on his lad. You know, loves his mum.
He got sent off 5 times last season. 5 times in a season.
In a season?
No, it was 5 times within a really short period of time as well.
Like a football season.
He kept coming back from suspension and getting sent off again. As I say,
I just want to make it clear, Dirty Bastard meant it. It was a horrible challenge.
I think
none of this. He was going for the ball. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
I think he meant it, and I think, you know, Mark Burchill was obviously, and you know, as any manager would, has come out and said it wasn't intentional of that, and you know, I don't begrudge him for saying it because that's what you say about your own players, but I know, you know, the feeling in the Hearts camp and the feeling all over the fucking world is that the guy meant it. He meant to hit Sam in the face, and he fucking caught him.
He did.
It was brutal.
But thankfully, no lasting damage done to Sam or his career. And we won the game.
A game broke out.
Yeah, well, 3-2 it was in the end. Quite nervy actually, because apart from the 3 goals that we scored, we didn't create a lot of other chances. Started very, very brightly. Zayfak again with an early goal, just as he did against Falkirk. A good breakaway, I seem to remember, just a sweeping move up the field, and then he managed to dink it onto his right and curl it into the bottom corner.
I wouldn't even say it's a good move. Basically, whoever was playing centre mid for Livy ran into Jamie Walker, and Walker on a sort of pass/tackle humped up the park. Zayfak, started pedalling. He ran onto it. Civies tried to shut him down. not to much effect. Zayfouk sort of dropped the shoulder a wee bit, cut inside, and then 20 yards out. It was a great finish, right into the bottom corner. It was a wonderful
goal.
Yeah.
I think it's a great goal because
I'd say it's individual rather than team, though.
Yeah,
I don't think Walker
it's a loose ball.
Him.
It's a loose ball.
Yeah.
But Zayfouk, he showed a real good burst of pace to get onto it in the first place to beat the man to the ball.
Yeah.
He made a really good bit of space for himself, and he brilliant, as you say, drop of the shoulder, touch inside, just set himself up to the shot. Brilliant finish as well. I think it was a really good goal.
It was. We've seen from Zayfouk. I've got a lot of time for Zayfouk. You know, I couldn't give a fuck if he's huge, because he is huge. Don't really care because he's been involved. He's set up goals. He's been involved in team goals. You know, his goal against Falkirk where he played it off to So and then So played it back inside for a finish. And now he's shown that he can do it individually as well. It's a sign of a good striker if you can do these different things effectively.
Right. Okay. I see. I wasn't really following you when you said you didn't care that he was big, but you're saying he's got skill and he's an all-round footballer. He's not just a unit.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Sorry. Yeah.
That's accurate. Well done. Thank you.
I accept your apology.
Okay, good.
Livingston equalised. I made things a bit nervous.
It was miles offside though.
The dicks. I don't think it was that offside, to be honest with you. I haven't seen it again. It was offside.
Miles offside. What a bunch of cocks.
Yeah, it was Craig Sivers, former Hearts player. Who scored the goal.
Festival Cup scorer.
Yes, I was ball boy at that match.
Were you
behind
really?
the goals where he scored? Yeah, he scored 2 that day, but one's chopped off for offside. There was a bit of fun fact.
My favourite Sivers memory, possibly only one, seeing how he didn't actually play a senior game for us.
Yeah.
Was being at, I think, the Sparta Prague game at Murrayfield, and like where I was sitting there was like a collection of about 10-15-year-olds, all of them wearing Sivers jerseys. It's just
what?
That's pretty great. Like they were obviously like his mates,
his brother and all that. Yeah.
Unless it was,
possibly him.
It could have been unrelated people called Sivers. Common name. Smith, Jones.
Service. It might well have been.
But yeah, he's a unit.
He's a big lad. He always was.
I guess if he was in this room, you'd call him Sives.
Oh, I see. That was a dig. That was an incredibly subtle dig.
It was.
Well, I put the B in subtle.
Sensational.
So it was just the turn of the half, just straight after half time they equalised. Hearts were a little bit shaken up. Sam amazingly managed to soldier on for the rest of the half after getting kicked in the face, and then possibly Robbie took one look at him close up and went, "Oh God, no!"
Jesus Christ, yeah. And Kenny Anderson came on.
Kenny Anderson slotted in.
Kenny Anderson came on.
But yeah, so the first thing that happened was that Livingston scored. Very tousy midfield battles until Anderson showed a very, very deft touch to just take a step back and get ahead on a wee dink ball inside.
I love that goal a quite serious amount. One for Billy King being smart enough to hold on to it for an extra 4 or 5 seconds.
Yes.
Go at his man, cut into the box. But the movement from Anderson's is fucking amazing. I mean, that's exactly why we signed this guy. He hung about the edge of the box for as long as Billy King had the ball down the wing. As soon as King made even just a drop of the shoulder to bring it back inside, Anderson found himself in about 4 or 5 yards of space. King, being Billy King, who's an amazing passer of the ball, found him inch perfect and a diving header. It's a really clever goal. I mean, for anyone else looking in, only seeing the highlights, maybe that must just seem like cross header goal. But if you look at it in the replays and stuff like that, it's a really smart bit of attacking play. It was really, really good to see. We'll talk about Kenny's qualities a bit later on because he was absolutely majestic in the first half today. Maybe majestic's rubbing in a bit, but he showed his qualities again today. Like, he's got a lot of pace, awareness, technique, and he just positions himself so well.
Yes.
And I think that goal was a very good illustration of it.
Yeah, I liked his celebration from the goal as well. It was because Gordon, the kit man, the not so good looking guy, the sort of baldy bloke who was Hearty Harry. Yeah. He came out with a big high five, and Kenny Anderson was all right, okay then, I'll high five. He just wants to see Robbie Nielsen, confirm his place in the team next week. But it'd be nice if he used one of the Hearty Harry hands to do the high five,
like a Mickey Mouse hand.
Yeah, just came out with a big sort of hey. Yeah. I would enjoy that.
It was it's one of only 2 goals this season where I've actually seen Nielsen celebrate, and the other one was Ozturk
Yeah.
when he lost his shit entirely at Easter Road. But no, it was good to see.
I
Obviously,
think that was like
It's nice to
Nielsen,
see.
the equivalent of Nielsen like tapping the table at pool, just sort of going, yeah, that goal. That's the sort of goal I like.
that's the one. Yeah,
But I love to see players really enjoy scoring goals
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
celebrations. You know, it's
Yeah.
great to see real like passion and joy on their face. You know, I
Absolutely.
love all that stuff.
Is that
you know?
better than a Tamiri Ketspaya kicking the shit out of anything that comes across you?
Jamie Hamill did that once.
Yes, he did.
He was
Jamie,
bald as
Jamie
well.
Hamill celebrated goals with the Hearts fans by telling them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it was what was it? It was the
Semi, he did it twice.
Scottish Cup run when we got the penalty in the last minute against St Johnstone.
Yeah.
And he scored the penalty, and he battered fuck out of the advertising boards as Suso was basically just looking scared behind him. It was great.
Look, you guys promised me that we'd never talk about Jamie Hamill again. Things have been going so well. Let's just move on. Like Hearts made that game at Ammanville safe by putting in the third goal, Jamie Walker.
Yes, yeah. Another nice little touch through from King as well, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Just sort of nothing amazing, but just a nice weighted ball through. And Walker, loads of confidence, took it on his right foot, and almost similar strike to Zayfook. He hit it really well across the goalkeeper. Bang, 3-1, and yeah, it was a great goal.
I've got a lot of time for Jamie Walker just now. See, since that he didn't even play that well in the game itself, but since he scored that penalty against Rangers, he's not looked back.
No, he's been a great
He's probably been our most consistent and best player since then. He's been absolutely superb.
Certainly from an attacking sense, I think Miguel Pallardo would have
Well-
something to say about consistency, but his work rate that he's showing now is night and day between the player that he was even at the start of the season.
Well, if you look at
Last year,
under lock, yeah.
If you look at the first round of games when we were on fire a lot of the time, Walker didn't play a lot of that, or he didn't play.
He was a
big
bench
parts.
impact
He didn't
guy.
feature as much.
Yeah, because it was always King and Nicholson.
Yeah.
But I think the real turning point for Walker was when he came on against Hibs at Easter Road, the Ozturk game.
Mm-hmm.
He came on and he played really well in that game. Last sort of 15-20 minutes, he made stuff. He put a bit of panic in Hibs, and he was bringing other players in, and the ball was sticking to him. I think from that moment on, Walker has been absolutely key player for us this season.
I think it's amazing that we're basically seeing the Jamie Walker that Darren Murray predicted. You know, Darren Murray always said that Jamie Walker is one of, if not the best young player he's ever worked with. And we're now seeing that. It's when he first broke into the scene under John McGlynn, he looked good. He did look good. You know, he scored a few great goals against St Mirren, Aberdeen, teams like that in the Premier League. But then he had that inconsistency that a youngster gets, all that kind of stuff. I think we're now actually beginning to see the best Jamie Walker that we can see.
I also think there was a little bit of that sort of he'd already made it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There might be an attitude thing.
I
in
mean,
there
I
as
have
well.
an empirical example to give when I bought my season ticket for 2013-14, and I went there, and Gary Locke was in the shop meeting fans, and some of the players were there, Mick Hattie was there and stuff, and I bought my season ticket, and there was a young lad behind the counter, and I just bought my season ticket, and it was Jamie Walker,
All right.
selling me my season ticket.
All right.
And he actually looked a bit miffed that I didn't recognise him. I didn't really know at that point who he was. He'd been in the team, you know, but he wasn't like recognisable in terms of
his
but
face.
But he seemed a bit miffed. The fact I wasn't going, oh, it's Jamie Walker,
Yeah.
But
Well, if you turned around and went, Kevin McHattie, I love you, then you might have had a case.
but I think that moment was the turning moment for him.
Yeah.
I think
That was an important part of his development.
When he
Not
realised
just as a player, but as a man.
when he realised that I didn't recognise him, he must have thought to himself, I've got to knuckle down here. And,
I've got to track back now.
yeah,
I've got to find a way to put myself on Bowie's radar.
I've always taken a bit of credit in that.
Deservedly so. So like I say, Hearts made the game safe with that, and then promptly made the game unsafe again.
Yeah, we thought it was safe.
By exposing Brad Mackay brutally and making sure that he had absolutely no option other than to come out of professional foul and concede a penalty.
I'm not even sure. You guys maybe think different, but I'm not even sure he meant to foul him. I thought it was just a sort of he caught him accidentally. I'm not sure he deliberately fouled him in the box. I'm not sure.
In those sort of situations, Brad can be a bit Lenny from Of Mice with Men.
Oh, of course. That was the exact analogy I was going to use.
Lenny.
As soon as I saw the replay, I thought, Lenny.
I just want to touch the nice forward. Oh, it's happened again, George.
I just really like him, George.
I felt it was more of a tangle of feet.
We're trying to get Brad on this show, or I certainly am. So we didn't mean that, Brad.
No, we didn't.
I thought it was a great tackle.
Look, I've just compared you to one of the greatest characters in the literary canon.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yep, bravo. I thought, to be honest with you, it was a decent ball over the top, and Miles Hippolyte is fast as fuck, and he got in behind Brad.
Was Wilson maybe a wee bit?
I don't think so. It was Brad's, man.
I thought Wilson might have done better as well.
The guy got in behind Brad, and I don't think Brad meant to film. I think he meant to try and get the other side of him. In doing so, he might have clipped his heel. It's a penalty. It is a red card. He's the last man. You can't really have too many complaints. Sometimes, as a defender or as a footballer, you just got to hold your hands up and say, right, well, I was fucking done there.
Moving swiftly on to another game against Livingston. Fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that.
Only the fifth time in our history that Hearts have played the same team in the league 2 weeks in a row.
Back to backs.
Oh.
Yeah, they are rare.
I think the last time was now let me think. I think it was 1979 against Hibs.
Christ, Bowie, your stats never cease to amaze.
Wouldn't it be just as an experiment one year? Let's do all 4 games against each opponent all in a row.
Yes.
And like finish the season with 4 derbies. Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
To be fair, is that going to get us any sort of sponsorship deal?
We're going to have to try something.
Lee Wallace's first 3 games for Hearts were all against Kilmarnock.
That's absolutely correct.
10 years ago.
Yep.
Almost to the month.
He scored
almost. In fact, no, it is to the month.
Yeah,
it was the Scottish Cup tie. Scottish Cup replay.
Yeah.
At Rugby Park that he scored that fucking
beautiful goal.
incredible goal where he skinned.
He ran the length of the pitch.
Yeah.
Did a 1-2
with Lee Miller.
Yeah.
What is Lee Wallace doing now?
In fact,
is he wandering around?
He is captaining the biggest laughing stock in possibly world football. Biggest laughing stock in world football. Yeah, he is the captain.
Looking up from his position on the left, seeing Miller and Boyd lumbering into position.
Oh, imagine having Kyle Hutton alongside you.
Great life choices, Lee. Great life choices.
Lee Wallace. Yep.
No, I like him. I do like him, and he was a good player for Hearts.
He was a great player for Hearts. It's just such a shame. Whenever players leave Hearts, I always, no matter where they go, really, I always look out for them and hope that they do well. And I've been watching it for Lee Wallace, and he's just taken such a downward spiral since.
Well, he's not been coached for about 4 years.
Since they hit, 3rd division, he's gone backwards completely.
His only coaching's been just help yourself with the buffet.
Yeah.
Have all this barbecue sauce and sandwiches. Aye.
Just take what Chris has.
Well, anyway, yes.
Have a cake.
Great pity what's happened to Lee Wallace's career. To a lesser extent, great pity what's happened to Dean Shields' career. Hibs beat Rangers, and they are now second, and we're 20 points clear of them still, thanks to our victory today against Livingston.
Yay.
And what a victory it was. Very, very hard fought. Livingston really, really dug in. They played 3-5-2 this week, possibly in the absence of... what's his name again for South? What's the left back who...
Talbot.
Yeah, there you go.
Sutcliffe.
Fred Talbot.
Wasn't even close. But Livingston did play a 3-5-2 today, and I think it worked very well for them. It meant they were very competitive in midfield, though part of that competitiveness was by just knocking lumps out of us and hoping that the referee just decided, that's fine.
I think the difference this week from last week is they were hard but fair. Mm-hmm. They were going into big tackles, and I welcome that. I think that shows respect for us almost, that they're trying to stop a footballing team using those kind of tactics. But yeah, they were going into it heavily, but they weren't taking anyone off at ear height this week, which was lovely to see, I must say, apart from when Callum Patterson got kicked in the face, when maybe a bit of a penalty there, but
But I would say I was very impressed by their 3 centre halves. It was Gallagher especially. I thought he played Zeefuik really, really well.
Declan Gallagher and Craig Sivvies and the other guy, can't remember. it's probably not important, to be honest with you.
No.
But they played well. They played Zeefuik very well.
Fordyce, that's
the one. Not many teams play Zeefuik very well. He's a very hard guy to come up against, and they did well. They really did. They let him take a first touch, and then they stayed touch tight to him. Meant he couldn't do anything. So, yeah, fair play.
Anyway, we were magnificent for that first half hour. Enough talking about Livingston, let's talk about Heart of Midlothian. I ended up with 70 notes after about half an hour and 0 goals, but my word, it was
nice. What's the first note?
Patterson hard work.
Kick off.
He lost the ball terribly out in the right wing, but chased back to win it back off of a Livingston midfielder.
Remember that?
He was just in the midst of saying how great we were as a team. Patterson had a fucking shocker today. He was pretty poor.
Unbelievably hot and cold, and he was more cold than hot today. He had some really good parts, really good bits of play. Linked up with Boabin in midfield and stuff like that, and he looked fine, but
lots of heavy touches.
He's
lots of
short
passes.
Touches were off.
I'm going to get this negativity out of the way, because apart from Patterson, I thought it was a great performance by Hearts today. But he's not been great for a few weeks. I was actually going to suggest he should be dropped after the Alloa game, and then he popped up and scored another goal from a set piece, which is obviously a real weapon for us. But I think he might benefit from a few games on the bench, just like Jordan McGee have a few games in his legs. I don't know. He looks a bit heavy and a bit leggy these days.
I personally think if you ask anyone who our first choice right back is, it's Callum Patterson.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying anything otherwise.
But the point I'm making is at this time of the season, when there's games that we do need to win to try and make this safe, I'm not sure I would play McGee. I'd still keep Patterson in there, because he's got that experience over McGee. He's got that strength, physical strength over McGee when we're playing against teams like Livingston, like Being of the South, like Falkirk. I would keep him in. I agree he's not maybe been at his sort of glittering best, but he's still such an effective player for us. He does so much work. He's good when he's going forward, he's good in the air. Sometimes, when the ball comes to his feet, his first touch isn't the best, but it's never really put us in any danger at any point. I would keep him in for now, certainly.
Yeah, I would too. I think that he can play through his little sort of spell of bad form.
Yeah.
I think I really love the guy as a player. Yeah, I think he's a massive character in the team.
Yeah.
I love his passion. I love the fact that he's quite a hard player as well, and a very good player on his game. He's just not been on his game recently. But I think, although he's still a young guy, I think he's got the experience, as you said, Robert, to just probably play through that little spell. And I still think of him as a really massive player for us. One of our really key players in our team. And although he didn't have his best game today, what I loved as well, he was very close to us in the second half where we sit. And there was spells today where the fans. A couple of things went wrong. The fans were going out there. Some fans were going out their seats, going crazy, and Callum was just sort of saying to the fans, "Just calm down, calm down." And everything that happens, it really matters to him. He's really tuned in to what's happening on the pitch and in the stands. It
was admirable. He never hid. Certainly, he must have known how badly he was playing, but he never hid. I agree with both of you. I love Patterson. I think he's a great option, but I just feel, we've seen players like King and Nicholson both benefit from little periods on the bench. I have to remember how young Patterson is. I think it might work out for him, but I'm sure Robbie will do the right thing.
I really, it's a weird one because I don't disagree with you at all. I just think best defence in the league, he's a major part of it. Why change it?
Here's another thing though. Is McGee in the mindset right now to come in at right back and fill in and do that job?
I think certainly. Yeah, he's done brilliantly whenever he's had to fill in.
I rate McGee highly as a right back just now.
Moving on, we should talk about the game itself. Lined up quite interestingly, talking about giving players a rest. Decided to give Morgaro a bit of a rest and lined it up with a very, very attacking midfield diamond. Started out with Anderson as the tip, Boabin on the left and Walker on the right. But Boabin and Walker pushed up so far, it ended up basically being functionally for the first 20 minutes or so a 4-1-3, well, a 4-1-3-2 really, because Boabin was Babin and Walker were so high pitched up. But like we were saying earlier about Walker's work rate, he really seems to thrive in that more sort of interior role. I think he could actually develop into an emergency central midfielder if required. Hopefully won't ever be required because we've got so many central midfielders. Again, we had Morgaro Gomez on the bench today. But
there was a great spell in the first half, wasn't there, when it was a wave after wave of attack, you know, and every time we were just one little unlucky thing away from getting the goal, or you know, the last ball across or something like that. First half I thought was excellent.
I think our entire style of play, I mean, you saw it against Alloa, you saw it today, is completely underpinned by the hard work and class of Pallardo. You know, he is so important. Just sitting in front of the back four, picking up scraps, playing the easy pass.
He's the definition of undroppable at the moment.
He absolutely is. I mean, he's so good. I mean,
might I suggest
it
that
baffles me how we signed him. It generally baffles me how we signed him.
If we go on to win this league, one of the key points of this season, I think, is the Falkirk game at home when Pallardo wasn't playing. And from that moment, the next game, Alloa away, Pallardo was in there, scored a fantastic goal, played a great game. I just think that's a pivotal moment in the season, you know.
Yes. So did you just mispronounce Pallardo's surname?
Pallardo.
That's interesting.
I don't think I did.
Pallardo.
What did I say?
Pallardo.
Oh no, I didn't say that, did
I?
Oh,
you did, Bowie.
Oh well, fuck you.
But yeah,
I've only ever read it. That's what it is. I've not had to say it.
I thought he was from fucking Norwich.
Well, anyway, Miguel, good on him.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, as much as Miguel flourished in the formation, Anderson very, very much impressed me. Some of the things, like I say, I
liked it when he fell over his own feet.
that was pretty good.
That was a
before
highlight.
that, he had a most incredible round the corner pass to Prince. Broke away on the left wing by us. Like everybody in the ground in the world thought he was going to play it up the wing, and just somehow contorted his ankle into a weird shape.
Wonderful
and just
pass.
like square ball across to Prince. Fooled everybody. It's one of the most orgasmic things I've seen at Tynecastle, and I'll think about it for the rest of my life.
I think Anderson showed a lot of energy. His positioning, his movement is genuinely really fucking promising. The way that he can read a game when he's not got the ball in an attacking way, so that he's in the right position at the right time, I think that's amazing. Some things didn't come off for him today. There's a couple of times where he was not put through on goal but put down the wing, for example, fell over his own tits. There was another time where he maybe made the wrong decision, lost a throw-in in the end, all that kind of stuff. But his effort, his movement, I really like the look of the guy. I can only imagine he came off at half time because of a knock.
Well, what we think might have happened was when you're talking about that incident of him falling over his own tits. Again, a great example of the energy that he displays. He was released by, I think it was it Walker put the ball over the top? Walker won the ball in midfield, slipped it down the wing to Kenny, who just lung bursting run to get on it, and the ground just sort of gave way a little bit underneath him. That's why he fell over. And he got up. He had like a wee sort of touch to his hamstring. He played the rest of the game. So at the time, I just dismissed it as one of those things, sort of like, oh, I've embarrassed myself a wee bit there. Let's just sort of go, oh, hamstring, everybody. But then he didn't come back, so it's a little worrying.
There was a couple of times in the first half where I thought I really wanted Eckersley to make a gamble by running forward, because Eckersley really loves going to sort of halfway line and waiting for the ball to come out and, to feet. And
then when it comes to him, he stands on it for ages and then doesn't play the ball.
Just a couple of times, there was so much room down that left-hand side in the first half. I just wanted Eckersley just to make that little gamble and just sort of run on and run into space, and maybe somebody could dink the ball over, you know?
I really, really liked seeing Eckersley back in the team today. I've got so much time for Eckersley.
Oh yes,
he's better than Jordan McGee at left back, but I still pine for McCarthy.
See, you're a sporty spice, I'm a posh spice. That's what this is. I like Kevin McCarthy a lot. I think he's a great attacking young Scottish fullback. But Eckersley is so 100%, he's so hard.
Yeah.
He is good going forward as well. He's provided goals and scored goals this season. I really, really like Eckersley. I think McHattie is going to find it really tough to get back in.
I think
as long
so.
as Eckersley's fit.
If we continue playing a narrow midfield, then McHattie will become even more important.
I'm staying out of this conversation because last time I confused the two names and got them horribly mixed up.
Hattersley.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, no, it's I really, really, really like Eckersley, and I'm so happy to see him reinstalled.
I think he's a solid citizen, as David Pleat would say.
I would love to see him stay for another year or two.
Yeah, I think he's a great player and a very important part of our squad.
Yeah.
Livingston did have a really good chance in those sort of opening exchanges. They managed to get a breakaway, and Mullen basically, it was kind of like it just sort of fell to him at the edge of the box, and he took like a pot shot, but it was winging straight inside the post, and Alexander got across magnificently.
I thought
Great
that
save.
was Jordan White. Was that not Jordan White?
I wrote down it was number 20.
Number
It might have
18.
been White, but I thought it was Mullen.
Either or, they're both actually quite good footballers.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
quite good that we've mistaken them because they're both probably a wee bit better than Livingston, to be honest with you. Certainly Smithy, I'll again mention him again.
Great save.
Thinks
wasn't
Mullen
it?
will be the next one out the door, but the save from Alexander was fantastic.
Yeah,
He
great save.
Yeah.
sprawled full stretch.
Not
across
his only great
across the
save today.
He made a few very good saves.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There was another one just around that time when Prince made a really great move into the box, and I think he'd lost his man, and he played a really brilliant ball right across the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
And you were wanting either Keatings or Zayfoot to gamble.
Yeah.
And they both sort of stayed back, and a bit frustrating, but
Yeah.
great move by Prince.
Leads on nicely, actually. Prince had an excellent first half.
He did, yeah.
He did.
After he was
Considering he's basically
absolute
playing
turds
left-hand
against
side.
he was terrible against Falkirk. I think that role again. I think that role in the sort of diamond formation really suits Prince because he just likes to run around, and that means he can be that sort of jack of all trades, which really suits him. Like I think maybe he gets a little bit bored if he has to sort of sit back all the time.
Yeah.
So
I think-
being that sort of combination midfielder suits
But
him.
it was great to see him actually go down the wing, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
today?
yeah, and
It
like
was
great skill. He
brilliant.
there was a good few
Bit of freedom.
dummies and disguised passes
Yeah.
and things like that to
Enjoyed
get
that.
crosses away.
I think for the first time, it's looked like Boabin hasn't particularly missed his bestie. He didn't
Yeah,
look like he
true.
missed Gomez in a huge way, which usually if it's one or t'other playing and not both, they do look a wee bit lost. But today I thought Boabin was, I just thought he was great, to be honest with you. Going down the left-hand side especially, not something he's familiar to. Maybe that helped.
It's possible that they've had enough time with Miguel now that they're the Wonder Triplets rather than the Wonder Twins.
This is the Wonder Triplets, exactly, yeah.
Miguel just slotting right into that family dynamic. Oh, we had one just gorgeous move. Keating's picked up on an attack sort of centrally. Like Zayfoot was right next to him to his left, but he managed to thread the pass right across the face of the Livingston defence to Walker, who was out wide. Like nobody expected that pass to happen.
That was a I don't know if he even meant it.
Oh,
See-
no,
see-
he
see
looked up and
watching
he
it-
saw Walker there.
Yeah, no, I might be being a wee bit harsh here. That was a fucking great pass. Like,
But then Walker managed to feed the ball back to Keatings, and he had a thronker of a shot, which
Yes.
Jameson saved well.
yes, absolutely.
More on Walker's work rate, the way he saved that throw in. We just dashed to the touchline and like backheeled it off the Livingston player to win the ball for Hearts.
Aye, that was tremendous.
And then he did something incredible. Like he passed the ball directly to Zayfout's tits from about 30 yards with like the power of a shot.
It was like this shot against Hibs that went in, but Zayfout stopped it with his boobs.
But
It
then
was like handing Zayfout a newborn baby. Just
But then Zayfout fed it back to Walker, and he had a little bit of juggling in the box before he had a shot.
well, I like a bit of juggling in the box.
Oh, you do, don't you?
Do you remember when it involves like keepy uppy off the shoulder as well?
Yeah, that was champagne stuff.
I enjoyed all of that. And then finally, possibly his worst movement of the actual game led to the goal.
Yes, yeah. Jinked inside and lost the ball twice.
Well,
And then the defender tried to clear it and it hit Walker square in the chin and came down to him quite nicely. But it was a nice finish.
Oh, it's a lovely finish, but he was like in like huge amounts of space on the edge of the box. Like the ball's rolled to him, he's all set up to have a shot, and he plays like the worst touch of the entire game. to let it fall to a Livingston defender, and that's when the stramash happened about bouncing off his face and tits before he eventually was able to dink it into the net.
My only recollection was that he rounded the goalkeeper.
Oh yeah, that was really nice.
He did round the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he did do that.
He scored into an empty net, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes.
And
From
how he celebrated.
4 inches.
It
was round McGowan distance in the end.
It was very similar to his goal against Aberdeen at Pittodrie last year. In close quarters,
That's right.
1-on-1 with the keeper. Maybe only
Kept ahead though.
Maybe only 5 or 6 yards between him and the goal line, and he still manages to round the keeper and put it in the back of the net. It's very clever, really technical finish.
But it was a well-deserved goal, wasn't it?
As soon as Walker got the ball back, fortuitously off his own nipples, I kind of knew he'd score. The kind of form he's in just now, he's got that confidence oozing out of him just now.
Yeah, it took a break for the ball to land to him, but he definitely has the skill and the confidence to make the best use of that.
Absolutely.
So that was the first half, and unfortunately, Kenny Anderson did not come out for the second half.
Yeah.
Billy King did instead, and this was, almost a turning point in the game, because it meant that we had to go to a flat 4-4-2 with wingers, and I feel we just lost the midfield completely at that point.
Yeah. Funny enough, when King came on, I thought that would be a good move, because there was so much space on the left-hand side in the first half, but something just, we lost the rhythm, we lost the tempo, we lost the ability to control the midfield and win the ball and get it down. There was a good spell in that second half where probably from about, the 45th to about the 75th minute, it was kind of, just wasn't happening, was it?
I just never want to see a flat 4-4-2 in this team again, not with this personnel. It's what made it so hard for us to get our point against Hibs. It's what lost us the game against Falkirk. It's what made that second half against Livingston so harrowing. I just we need that extra man in midfield, and we've got the personnel to do it. I mean, it is rough on our wingers, seeing how they're so great, but we, apart from Osman Sow, we don't have a striker who can really play up front on his own. And we don't have Osman Sow because he's again injured, and it's really sad.
It's really annoying.
I just wonder though if the change was forced upon us in case
it definitely
Anderson
was. It definitely was. I think if Anderson had gone down, say with 20 minutes left to go, we might even have brought on El Hasnoui as a direct replacement for him at the tip of the diamond. But a full half with El Hasnoui coming back off of an injury, I don't think it was the play. We did eventually bring on Gomez to shore up the midfield, but I think at that point Robbie's thinking, no, we need more goals. I don't want to go on with the sort of super defensive midfield.
Yeah.
It became a sort of turgid second half, but I think it's a game wore on, getting into the last 15. Livingston seemed to maybe lose a bit of discipline at times. They got the man sent off, but they also started to tire maybe. I just felt that they started to look a bit tired. They made a few mistakes. Going into the last quarter of an hour, we started to create chances again, didn't we?
Well, they really made a rod for their own back. The first one, before we really get into it, I want to talk about Miguel Pallardo had to do a sort of professional foul on a Livingston breakaway.
That's right.
Earned himself a yellow card, but from that free kick, White had a really good header, which Alexander produced another stunning point-blank save to tip it over the bar.
Great save.
Then after that, Mark Burchill made an absolutely baffling decision. We'd brought on Gomez to win back the midfield, and so because they were chasing the game, they decided to take off Burton O'Brien, who was their best midfielder, and place him with Gary Glenn.
Yeah, he kind of went all out hell for leather by taking off an old guy, bringing on a winger come forward.
Well, it was ridiculous anyway, because it meant instead of just being the same numbers in midfield, he actually created a midfield disadvantage for him. And then 5 minutes later, Proprotnik finally managed to...
Who the fuck is he, by the way? Is he a new signing or something?
I've zero idea.
Dr. Proprotnik.
Sonic's nemesis picked up his second yellow cards, and suddenly Livingston had no midfield at all. And I think that's what really contributed to their last 15 minutes, where they really were just humping balls from Jameson straight up top and trying to win things off knockdowns.
And they did have a few little we had a few little scares, there was a few little moments there. I mean, you talked about the great save over the bar. but there was a few other ones that were a few uncomfortable moments, you know. But then, as a sort of opposite of that, they started to make mistakes at the back, and we had a few good chances at the end to win it.
Well, few good chances. Do you want to tell me what was going through Gennaro Seyfouk's mind?
I think I know what he tried to do when he got put through on goal by Gary Glenn, I think it was actually. Yeah.
When he had the entire goal to aim for.
Yeah, I think he tried to go for the clever, sort of smart refinish. He was through on goal, and he probably could have gone 4 or 5, maybe 6 yards further, and he tried to give the goalkeeper the eyes and dink it over him, but he kicked the turf and ended up basically just, you know, passing it to Jameson. Which
if there's any player you want to just leather it,
I wanted the ball to go to him, and a really good solid kick of the ball into the net. It was a goal.
Yeah,
but he did that really.
He tried to dink
shitty
it.
Little dink.
Tried to dink it.
Off.
It didn't. It did not come off at all. Which is a shame. It didn't really work for Gennaro today at all. Really.
He looked. I don't know if he was tired or something like that, but he wasn't. He didn't have the same energy that he's had in previous games.
I don't think he was given the service. The game did not
other
suit
than
him
that
at
moment.
all. Well, other than the moment he was put.
Yeah,
right through goal
when he was put through by the opposition.
But so what you're saying is that we need to sign Gary Glenn.
Yes.
Yeah.
He will feed.
If he put his foot through that, it was 2-0.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He tried to be smart. Sometimes strikers do that. It doesn't work sometimes. That's basically just what happened. Then Billy King,
oh my god,
2 minutes later was just as culpable when he could have taken 7 touches instead of hitting it the first time.
Yeah, well, he went for power, but unfortunately he also aimed for the roof of the Gorgie stand.
He should have done a little dink over the goalkeeper.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Maybe that would have worked. Yeah.
And that would have just, you know, put it to bed, but it was pretty much time up at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But, you know, a good, strong, gutty win for 1-0 against, difficult opponents. Yeah, not much else to sort of touch on in that second half. It was pretty hard going, but mark of champions. Grind it out.
Yeah. We could have scored more goals, definitely, but we created a lot of chances, and you know, on another day we might have scored a few goals. If we'd won 3-0 today, we would have been like, you know, rubbing our hands. But we'll take 1-0.
Yeah, we've still got 3 points regardless of scoreline.
And the result from Friday night gave us a real chance to extend our lead at the top.
Yeah,
we did it.
20 points clear of the second place team.
Who is now Hibernian Football Club.
Yeah.
No longer Rangers.
Rangers have got 3 games in hand.
For the first time this season.
Rangers have got 3 games in hand. I actually don't think they'll win all 3 games, even though they're against smaller teams. I think that they'll drop points there.
Well, that would be delicious. That would be lovely.
And even if they win them all, we're 13 points ahead of them.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll win all their games in hand.
Well, like, you know, by the time, not necessarily like the actual fixtures they've got in hand, but by the time they end up having played the same amount of games that we've played, they've got to go away to Livingston, they've got to go away to Wraith.
Yeah.
I think they've got a game against Falkirk as well.
Yeah.
So they've got like 2 fixtures against Queen of the South.
They're going to be playing Saturday, Wednesday quite a lot coming up, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not the fittest squad to begin with.
Nah.
No.
And these guys who've gotten on loan, they're going to be going to places like Central Park, and you know, they're not going to fancy that.
There's no chance those Newcastle players give even half a shit about Rangers.
No.
Nope.
No.
No.
So yes, that was what a wonderful time we all had at Tynecastle today. Songs come up. So, well, I think you'd have to say over the course of the 2 games, possibly Jamie Walker contributed the most. So I thought Payardo was phenomenal today.
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yes, he was very, very good. Very, very good.
But both Payardo and Walker have both had songs on 2 occasions, 2 times.
2 times dos.
What we decided instead is that we're going to give Neil Alexander a little bit of a nod, because he's been very solid all season. He's in a tough position for man of the match shouts, given that, you know, he's very rarely going to be called on.
Yeah.
But his 2 saves today were absolutely wonderful, and given that we only won 1-0, absolutely vital.
Yes.
Recognised.
So I think it's time. Neil Alexander. It's time I got your name right and celebrated
You're just
you.
awful with names.
I'm just so bad for Mr. Alexander. Alexander takes every ball in the box and he's like, you never shall score. Damn right, you never shall score. He could teach you. He's got a coaching badge.
Totally disregarding rhyme.
Oh, that was good.
I did like the bass intro though. That was good.
Yeah, that was good.
Right, okay. Oh what a game, oh what a game, Alexander. Oh what a game, oh what a game, Alexander. He's number one, he fucked the Huns, Alexander. Oh what a game, Alexander.
I like that very much. I like that. It deserves to be talked about more. How he sort of went, no Rangers, give me my motherfucking money.
Yes.
Where's my money?
Get absolutely fucked. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You think Cammy Bell's better than me? Give me my money.
Oh no, I don't know. Yeah, no, good. Good.
Good. Mr. Bowie,
Well, again, I've just came up with something off the cuff.
give us one of your songs, Bowie.
Okay. Can't believe the way Alexander is making me feel. To get him on the free from Crystal Palace was a fucking steal. He's a good Heartsman on an all-white strip with a no-year tan. Oh, it looks so good. If you don't like Neil Alexander, just looking at the ratio of goals. Conceded per games we played, his 10 is 10-2 gold. I believe in the Neil Alexander.
Guitar! My word, I've rarely been so confident going into around a song, so I thought my effort had it sewn up, but my goodness, Mr. Bowie showing us his range, he's showing us his ability. It's a hands down win for Mr. Bowie, I think.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Well done. Big hugs from Mr. Bowie.
After the last time, you know, with like the sort of relaxed, pleasing baritone to bust out the darkness.
Just something I made up.
I've got, you know, the Danny Wilson song.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Danny,
Yeah.
of yesteryear.
Yeah.
There's actually a Neil Alexander one as well, right here.
Is it? Is this a Robert Borthwick original?
This is a second entry. I was helped by a good friend of mine, who I sit next to at games.
Okay.
Okay, so oh Alexander, he is a jambo. He loves the Hearts. You didn't want to pay him, but the judge he said you must, and now you've got to pay him, and the Huns are going bust.
Oh, Alexander.
Yeah.
Well done, Robert's pal.
Thanks. Yeah. Good.
But you didn't win because Bowie did.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Jesus Christ. Bowie.
Fantastic.
Tick-a-boo.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Great. Well,
My
that
pleasure.
brings us towards the end of another episode. What a phenomenal time we had.
Yes.
Thank you for coming again. If people want to grab you on Twitter, where can they grab you?
I'm A.H. Bowie, 1874. I think.
I think
There might be an at in there somewhere.
there's an at the beginning.
Ah, that's it, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Just write me a letter. I'll give you my home address. I'm looking for a pen pal.
I'll send you one of my finest pigeons.
Yes, I am at RF Borthwick, and I won't even give you the time of day, so you're at Nickel Hay.
There you go.
Yeah. The podcast has got its own Twitter account as well. It's at We Have No Cares.
That's true.
Yep. You can also contact us. No one contacted us this week, so you know, just saying. It's we have no cares at gmail.com. We also have a Tumblr page where you can find this episode and all the older episodes. It's we have no cares.tumblr.com.
Fantastic admin there, Robert.
Thanks, bro.
Before we sign off, a big thanks to Mr. Alan Hunter, who gave us the use of his home today to record the episode.
Thank you very much, at Big Felly.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the felly himself.
Indeed.
Join us next week when we will have played
Queen of the South.
Queen
away
of the
from
South.
home.
Oh, that's right. It's a big trip that none of us will be going on.
No,
Again.
Not even in your kilt.
not even in my kilt. No, I cannot afford to hire a kilt to go to
Times are tight.
to Dumfries once more. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Straight in times, which is a shame because the last trip was lovely. But
Fucking great, yeah. Everyone who's going, please do enjoy and please do send us all sorts of messages, pictures, and maybe entire highlights of the whole game.
yeah, just hot content.
Yep.
Steve Crawford.
Steve Crawford.
Steve Crawford.
Amaruso, that's a run, it's a done!